Moniki Gunn-Cannon is now our Step-Up Employment Director at the Empowerment Network. We've asked her to talk specifically about cradle-to-career strategies. Let's welcome Moniki Gunn-Cannon.
Good morning, good morning. So we've been learning a lot this morning and we'll continue to talk a lot today, but there's two distinct years that I remember many people talking about when I was growing up. And that was the year of 2000 when everything was just gonna crash and burn when we flipped the switch. And the year of 2020. Well, the future's here. The future's now. We're just months away from that pivotal moment that we didn't know what was going to happen. There were tons of economists and futurists that were talking about what we would be doing. We were going to be flying in these fancy cars, and we were going to be living on Mars, and we were going to be, eating from robots and all of these wonderful things. Well, that's not here just yet. But what I don't know is the prediction they had about employment. And so as we look at the employment numbers right now with African Americans, we have an epidemic. We look at the stats and we see that, yes, there's been a decline from 21% unemployment to 8% unemployment. We also see, though, in contrast, that unemployment across the board is less than 3%. And if you take a deeper dive into North Omaha, where I live and work and play, we're sitting at 13% unemployment rates. So it's really difficult for me to celebrate and stay in celebratory mode because yes, I celebrate, but I can't stay there. I can't get complacent because there's some young people sitting right over there that depend on all of us to ensure that Step Up and other programs like it are creating a prepared and qualified workforce. Now, the mayor talked about their commitment, and she also put a challenge out to you to say you have to commit too. Some of you will say, how's that Step It Up program? And I'm like, are you stepping it up? Because in order for Step Up to exist, in order for Step Up to make a difference, we have to have every single person in this room at the table. Whether you're an educator that's looking at this pipeline and saying, I can do something with parents and community. I can do something with early childhood. Oh, matter of fact, I go all the way through high school. Or you're a business leader who has positional power to look at some of the rules and the landscapes of whatever it is that you're creating in your environment. What kind of environment are you creating for the next generation? We're talking about 2025. We're talking about 2050. And those are great. But we can't get to 2025, we can't get to 2050 and continue to look at the same statistics that we're looking at now on the slides that Cash just showed, or the ones that Willie is talking about. And so when we start thinking about what is it that we can do, we can all start to break down some of these silos. We can start to become a little bit more challenging. Let's take some risk. Let's push against the envelope. Let's move beyond the status quo. Because I had a conversation with a young lady this morning that I picked up, and I started thinking about it, and we were talking about barriers to employment. And she said, there's not enough opportunity for me to try things out. I want to be an attorney. Everyone tries to get me to go into healthcare, or they want me to own a salon, but I want to be an attorney. So it's young ladies like her that we have to begin to position now because she's ready. We have to position her and to get her to this world-class pipeline that we're talking about. We can't wait. We're losing minds. We have 900 young people that will join us in about a week. 900. But what's interesting to me is articles tell me that there's a shortage. Some shortage in this city and in this state. Panel discussions all the time about this shortage. But I have 900 young people that want to be prepared, and that's times 12 years. But then I read in the same city and the same state that we also have high unemployment rates and poverty rates. So whenever those things are disconnected and they're a little unbalanced for me, I have to begin to ask the question, what can I do? How do I engage more of you in my space? How do I begin to take this thing to the next level to say, what does preparation even look like? What are the gaps that we've identified, whether it's youth employment, adult employment, and what is out there that maybe people don't know about? We may need to market differently. We may need to get on social media, whether we love it or we don't. We may need to snap a time or two. Because if we're really going to take individuals from cradle to career, we're going to take them through all these different continuums. You have to commit to placing yourself wherever it is that you fit. And some of you may say, well, I'm not in a nonprofit. I'm not a business leader. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I challenge you to dig deep. I challenge you to find that place of passion and purpose and the intersection of your creative nature and say, I can do that. Maybe it's picking someone up after you identify that there's a transportation barrier. Maybe it's putting a social media post out. It can be very, very simple. We don't have to do extraordinary things, but we do have to take action. And in a time where we're used to having a command, Alexa can't fix this for us. And Siri surely doesn't know the path to get us to our destination. So I challenge each and every one of you to figure out what is it that you can do? Where is it that you can take these young people that are sitting right here? How can you make a commitment today that will ensure that we reach those goals that we have of 250 new or expanded businesses and 5,000 unemployed individuals connected to sustainable living wages? Notice I said sustainable. And 2,500 families lifted out of poverty. We can't get there without you. So I challenge you to join me, myself, the employment director, Tim Burke, the CEO of OPPD, and also we're gonna have Wayne Brown from the Urban League. We're gonna do a session. We're gonna talk about those gaps. We're gonna talk about those solutions, but we need all of you to participate in the conversation. So join us in a few. See you soon.
Moniki Cannon.